Hi there. Thank you for tuning in to Grow Your Gifts. Today I'm just going to jump right into it. It is a trigger warning, and our topic is get support and find support. And I did not know that it would be raining, so I did not come prepared. But we're going to power through. Just a little bit of raindrops keep falling on my head. It's all right. But my notebook. So yeah, I wrote this one out and I will try to keep it as concise as possible, and I'll just be reading from my notes. So get support and find support any way you can. Share your story with other people. I think that can really be helpful. For example, during my journey with severe trauma, I went to group counseling, and there is a trigger warning here. I'm going to tell you about my story about what happened at group counseling, just a quick one. So the facilitator said, if you have been abused, raise your hand. If you have been verbally, psychologically, physically abused or suffered from neglect, raise your hand. By then, everybody in the room had their hand raised. If you had been sexually abused, raise your hand. And I just want to note that generally it's not about sex, it's always about power and God knows what else, but wires do tend to get crossed. But we're just going to call it sexual abuse for the sake of it. And do keep in mind that also the partner often of the person who was sexually abused is going through their own kind of hell. So the partners also need to seek support as well. And when she said, if you have been sexually abused, raise your hand, almost everyone in the room still had their hand up. It was shocking. But at the same time, from my own research, just knowing the reality of what goes on in the world, I knew it was everywhere in a way, unfortunately. But it was completely different feeling, different experience to see it in person, to see, heart to heart, all these people that had experienced that. And then later we all shared our stories and, we talked about what happened, which is so, so powerful. And please remember, with severe trauma, it is not your fault. It never was your fault. And it takes tremendous courage to break the silence. That is a common term in counseling, and it really helps to summarize, give words to what that is. It's break the silence. If you've done it, you know exactly what that can entail. Your whole world can fall apart. And then you start putting the pieces back together because it's the first time you actually talked about it ever. So that's what break the silence means. So it really helped me to put things into perspective with group counseling. I knew my trauma was bad, and I'm not minimizing my experiences in any way, but at the same time, it was shocking, some of the other things that other people had experienced, and I was like, thank God it wasn't that bad for me. Like, I was able to immediately get the sense of, holy, I'm not alone. Oh my goodness, it could have been so much worse. Like, all of these different ahas and realizations came right away. Group counseling was like a complete godsend for me. And it helped me put things into perspective a great deal. So there are so many kinds of support available. Sometimes a diagnosis can help with free or low income counseling and classes, like for depression. There's watercolor classes and therapy classes, different kinds. You can get a referral, once you have a diagnosis, or if you don't want to go that route, you can just see what's in your area and what's available. Always use your discernment, and find what works for you as well. It's so important to get out of the isolation bit by bit, and find your voice again. And that can come in many ways. For example, for myself, growing up with a mom with special needs, being the baby of the family, I was struggling to find my natural tone for a very long time. That's one way of looking at finding your voice, your true natural voice. And also way back then, as a former rageaholic, personally, like in my personal life, and I was way too soft in my professional life when I was working with children with autism. And when I started tapping into my dad voice, that's what I call it. I was, it just means firm and serious. It's really coming down. My hands would start to shake at first, saying that, working with the kids, and we're doing some fast therapy. It's called IBI therapy, and you have to be quick, and then they're doing something, I need to be like, stop, and just trying to tap into that dad voice really for the first time ever. My hands were like shaking like crazy. I was like, I can't control this. I don't know what's happening. I'm thinking to myself. I just turned to my coworker there and I was like, I guess I had too many espressos. She didn't need to know all my personal stuff, and I just continued trying my best and breathing through it. And going back to, playing and doing the IBI therapy. So singing also really helped me to connect to my solar and sacral energy centers, and my throat and my heart. Okay, all the energy centers, but you go through stages and cycles, and just being in my natural power while also letting go, which brought me to more of the subtle sciences. It's all about energy now and playing with that, and also deep, deep, deep respect for myself and others. I've worked a lot on what that means, and how to integrate that, and then owning it and feeling it and releasing it when I drop the ball on that. We're human and we make mistakes and we're never going to be perfect. So sometimes we do end up disrespecting ourselves still and other people. So it's so important to go back and not just apologize, but not keep doing the same thing over and over. So that's owning it, feeling it, and releasing it, and that really can help you, when you're alone by yourself, and just journaling that and be like, wait, what just happened? I don't know why I was so disrespectful to myself, or I don't know why I was so disrespectful to my sibling or whoever it might be. So you go in your quiet corner in your bedroom, comfy, cozy, and you try to filter what just happened, and what were your real intentions and everything, and then have like a real talk with them. But now I'm gonna have a real talk with you. So this is real talk time. All right, so get real. Put down the hopium. Back away slowly. This doesn't apply to everyone, but I see this so often, and for myself as well over the years, especially back then. I had to accept and understand there is no utopia, and I had to accept that to really fully move forward in my own journey. I mean, maybe we're in the beginning of a utopia and we're like 100 years from that. Who knows? Or maybe we're more like 1,000 years from that. I don't know. But I think it's great that some truths are coming to light. Hallelujah that some legal justice is there. But in my opinion, it's always limited disclosure. It's always a limited hangout. I think being overly positive, you get stuck. Being overly negative, you get stuck. Being overly neutral, you get stuck. I was raised by robots. Resonate with my frequency. Those are two house two house songs that I'm mixing together. But I think you get the idea. I think we incarnate in the mud for a reason. Yeah, a wall of mud behind me. So listen to your heart, connect within without being vicious and cruel. It is a subtle science, energetic boundaries. Trust your intuition and when to have full power to shield, Scotty, which is almost all the time. Investigate the deep esoteric meaning of things. What does esoteric mean? What is Yoga Maya? What is Yog Maya? What are modes of nature? And what are gunas? Gunas. Also come back to what matters and what your job is, what your role is, what your passion is. Don't get stuck in distraction. It's all about just try to piece it together while also letting it all go, simply being in the present now. What are you buying into? 'Tis a season to be minimalist. These simple, often free, low-cost details, which can bring you respite, relaxation, joy, unfoldment, peace, and fill your being with love. Simple things like walking at night and seeing the Christmas lights, the decorations, the creativity, being fully present with your family, showing appreciation of them. Keep in mind that trust is earned and built with consistent respect, personal responsibility, and accountability. Enjoying a simple, warm meal, going on a winter sleigh ride or cross-country skiing. Something else that is free and can help you greatly is reflecting deeply on 2024, on your past 5 years, on your past 10 years. Your lessons, your gifts, your opportunities for growth. That includes failures, which are just really buried treasure. So you'll see that, okay, I failed at this, but wait, what are the lessons? And write it down. What are the gifts? And write it down. What were the opportunities? And write that ish down, and you will see, oh my gosh, there's so much buried treasure here. This thing that I thought happened to me was literally happening for me. Not to justify bad things in any way whatsoever. If it's bad, it's bad. So accept that first and then try to understand what you can gain from the experience. Because you can't change it. Can't go back in a time machine. Sorry. Yeah, and getting crystal clear on what you want for 2025 and what you want it to be about. The overall feeling, your vision, heart, body, mind. Picture it, taste it, swim in that vision. Then set and identify your goals in your areas, like environment, your home, your bedroom, your car, whatever your environment is. Spiritual, health, passion work that I call my career is called passion work. Relationships like marriage, children, family, friends, coworkers, community, and so on. You can see all the different areas and find that online as well. And remember to give thanks. So mainly, do your best to not repeat your mistakes. Shine your inner light of compassionate awareness on your self-sabotage or self-destructive or toxic patterns. It's one thing having a dark side, making peace with it, and understanding how to tap in and use your fierce energy as a tool. It's another thing when you come to realize you have been allowing this unconscious pattern to run your life, your health, and from a very loving place, stand up. Make the inner decision. It ends now. There is no overthinking. There is simply the choice with such integrity. Yes, integrity. That all of life conspires to help you. But you got to do the work too. Action is part of attraction. If only you watch, look, and listen, guidance is there, but you have the power. That's the empowering part, quite simply. In my experience and my limited awareness, from what I've gained so far, I've learned that I got myself into this mess, this rut, ultimately. So I have the power to get myself out. All right, that's everything in a nutshell. I hope this helps. I'm signing off, and I wish you well.